How was your day? I hope you're feeling great today. Prepare yourself for today's great learning opportunities. I am Angeline Ipaz, your science teacher for today. And this video lesson I'm discussing with you the sources and importance of water in the environment. But before that, we will have first a short prayer. Before we start, we will first determine the learning objectives. Before we move on to our next lesson for today, can I ask first if you still remember our last topic? What is all about? Very good! So, last time we talked about the different types of soil and its characteristics and differences. We learned that different types of soil are the clay, silt, loam, and sand. We learned that the sand is the largest type of soil particles, where each particle is visible to naked eye. Sandy soil consists of particles of rocks and hard minerals such as silicon dioxide. The other one is silt. It is a sediment material with an intermediate size between sand and clay. It is non-plastic or low plasticity material due to its fineness. That when wet, it becomes a smooth mud that you can form easily into balls or other shapes in your hand. The third one is clay. Clay particles are the finest of all soil particles, measuring fewer than 0.00 millimeter in size. Clay is the finest grained cohesive soil. They stick together readily and form a sticky or glowy texture when are wet or dry. And lastly, the loam. Loam is a mixture of clay, sand, and silt, and benefits from the qualities of three different textures, favoring water retention, air circulation, drainage, and fertility. I prepare for you a short activity related to our topic for today. I will show you some pictures related to our lesson and you're going to determine what is it. Congratulations! You did well in our activity. Now, do you know what is the largest percentage that contains our planet Earth? Very good! Water. Water is the largest percentage that makes up our planet Earth. So, do you think that water is very important or has an importance to our life? Yes, it is very important since we use water every day in our different aspects. Where do you think water came from? Yes, very good. Water comes from different sources such as oceans, the seas, rivers, lakes, and many more. Should we need to save our water sources? How can we save water? Very good. We can save water by using it properly and maintaining the cleanliness of the source. Water is very essential for all living creatures. Without an adequate, continuous source of water, we can absolutely have a difficulty in living. And worst, it will be no living at all. Did you know that water comes from different sources? It may come from open or closed sources. It may also come from a small body of water or big bodies of water. Do you have an idea what are examples of small bodies of water? How about examples of big bodies of water? Very good. So, ponds, creeks are examples of small bodies of water, while oceans, seas, and lakes are examples of big bodies of water. Example, the rainwater. Where do you think this kind of water came from? Very good. Rainwater is from clouds. So, there are three main sources of water. These three different kinds of water depending on its sources. So, what do you think the different kinds of water depends on its source? Very good. So, the three different kinds of water are the seawater, fresh water, and the groundwater. So, first is the seawater. What do you think the characteristics of seawater? So, seawater. Yes, of course. From the name itself, we can already determine that this kind of water source is from the seas and oceans. Also, seawater is also called as a hard water. This is because due to the various dissolved salt it has. Seawater contains salt of calcium and magnesium, principally as bicarbonates, chlorides, and sulfates. Do you think that seawater can be suitable for drinking? Why do you say so? Drinking seawater can be deadly for humans. It is because seawater contains so much salt. Although humans consume salt as a part of their daily diets, also drink liquids which help to dilute the salts to keep it at a healthy level. Living cells do depend on calcium chloride or salt to maintain the body's chemical balances and reactions. However, too much sodium can be deadly. Then, what could be the uses and importance of seawater to our daily lives? Do this water really have an importance? Yes, of course. Seawater is very important. The ocean produces over half of the world's oxygen. It is also said that ocean is the heart of the planet. Sea plants like Posidonia produces 70% of the oxygen we breathe. And the deep water are the home of wildlife and some biggest creature on earth. Seawater also provides us with foods, jobs, life, entertainment, and sailing. Also, seawater has many other surprising benefits. It cleans our skin, it strengthens the immune system, reduces and eliminates anxiety, slows down the development of rheumatism, and has cicatrization properties that helps a wound to easily heal. It also cleans at the largest intestines and some other more. Can you imagine how amazing this kind of water sources could be? So, the second one is the fresh water. It is also called as surface water. Unlike seawater, it does not contain salt. Of course, from the name itself, fresh water. But, do you think fresh water is suitable for human consumption? Well, it doesn't mean that its name is fresh means it's already good for us people to drink. But then, it can be, depending to where source it came from. But then, it is not the kind of water source that is said to be good for our body. It is because some of the sources of fresh water is not that as clean. What do you think are some examples of fresh water sources? Very good. So, the rivers, lakes, ponds, and creeks are some examples of fresh water and example of small bodies of water. Fresh water or surface water comes mostly from rain. Rainwater flows from land into streams and rivers. In some cold countries, it also comes from snow. Great quantities of snow accumulate on highlands and mountains. During winter and in spring, the snow melts and runs off into surface water. Fresh water is vital for life, supporting ecosystems and human civilization. We use fresh water in many aspects of life, including food production, power generation, manufacturing, and sanitation. Fresh water in the land surface is a vital part of the water cycle for everyday human. Most of the water that people use every day comes from those sources of water. Can fresh water make the desert bloom? How? Very good. Life can be bloom in the desert as long as there is a supply of surface water. So, again, what are the examples of fresh water sources? Fresh water is also called as what? Why is it called as surface water? Yes, it is because it is found on the surface of the earth. Very good. So, let's move on to the third one, the groundwater. So, the third one is groundwater. Where can we find groundwater? Is groundwater sources safe for human consumption? So, this is it. The groundwater is the water that is said to be suitable for human consumption. It is considered to be the most safest source of water since it is the cleanest water that contains plenty dissolved minerals, which the body human needs. Why is it that groundwater sources is safest than the fresh water? Yes, very good. So, the groundwater sources is the safest water because it is less prone to the germs and bacteria. Through runoff, air fallout, and other sources, surface water can contain significant amounts of contaminants such as chemical pollutants. That is why groundwater generally contains fewer contaminants than surface water and requires less treatment. Groundwater is found beneath the Earth's surface. It comes from surface water that seeps into the ground. Groundwater sources are found within certain layers underground called aquifers. The various strata of soil, sand, and gravel found underground filter most disease-causing organisms and harmful chemicals as the water infiltrates through them. This is why groundwater is clean water source. So now, what do you think are the uses of groundwater? Very good. Groundwater can be used for public supply, for thermoelectric power, and for drinking water. Also, it is for self-supplied domestic, industrial mining, aquaculture, livestock, and irrigation. What could be the example source of groundwater? Very good. The example sources of groundwater are water pumps and wells. So, again, what are the three kinds of water depending on its sources? Yes, it is the seawater, the fresh water, and the groundwater. So for now, we will have a short activity. I will give you 5 minutes to answer the following questions just explained briefly. Okay class, let's have a short quiz to test that you've learned lesson today. I'm giving you 10 minutes to finish the quiz. Please choose the right one. Good luck! So, for your assignment in a long bond paper, paste one example sources of water of each kind of water and answer the following guide questions in a one whole sheet of paper. So, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you've learned something from this lesson today. Thank you and goodbye.